Hey guys, Nate from Richard's Guitar Studio, and today we're going to do a song by my favorite band, Slayer, Raining Blood. And so get ready to pick fast, this is going to be a good one. So I'm going to teach you in standard tuning. This song is tuned a half step down, so once you're finished the lesson, you're ready to play, you're going to have to tune down a half step, but I figured it's easier this way so we don't have to tune right now. So go ahead and open up the tabs. They're in the description. You're going to need them for the lesson to follow along because I'm going to refer to them in this lesson. So you can either print them out, open a new tab, whatever is easier. So go ahead and open those up, and letter A is the intro riff, and it sounds like this. So what you're going to do with this is you're going to palm mute the low E string 3 times. Easy enough. Then on the A string, first finger 7th fret. Next string, the D string, 2nd finger on the 8th fret, and you just go 8, 9, 8. After that, you're going to do a little finger pattern with fingers 3, 2, and 1. It's going to be the 9th fret on the A string. Then you go to the D string, 8, 7. And then you're going to take that little pattern, 9, 8, 7, and move it over a fret to the 8th fret and do 8 on the A string, and then D string 7, 6. So that little finger pattern in measure 2 is 9, 8, 7, 8, 7, 6. So all together from the beginning is. So that's your main riff. You'll see in the tabs letter B, that's a harmonization that they do on top of that main riff, and you're going to palm mute 3 times, and then the only difference here is you're moving the riff over 1 string to the D string. So you're going to have your first finger on the 7th fret of the D string and do the same riff that you just learned. So once you have letter A down the first part, you could just drop it over a string, and there you go. That's the harmonization. All right, same pattern of notes. Then we're going to go to letter C, which this is a challenge for the pick. This is where you're really going to start playing fast, and it sounds like this. So this one is like a broken 16th note reverse gallop rhythm. And basically you're going to palm mute the low E string and do down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, over and over and over again. And what I do is instead of keeping my thumb like flat, I bend it like this. So it kind of like puts the pick at an angle, almost scraping the string. And I just play right on the edge of the pick, right on the tip. That allows me to go faster without having too much resistance from the strings. All right. So that goes for like 3 measures. Yeah. The last measure of letter C is that little riff there at the end, and it's on the low E string, palm muted, open 2-4. Like that, open 2-4. Then your third finger is going to roll over to the A string, no more palm mute, and play the 4th fret. Then you go to the D string and do 3-2. Then you do that same thing on the A string, 3-2. So open 2-4, palm muted. the 4th fret A string. Then this 3-2 pattern from the D string to the A string. So I like to alternate pick that because it gives my hand a little bit of a break, but you could down pick either way. Either way will work, whichever is more comfortable for you at that speed. So again, this one a touch slower. So that's letter C. Then D is where all hell breaks loose. And it's this crazy finger pattern like this. So it's a 5th fret on the low E string with your pinky. And you do a 4-2-1 finger pattern. 5, 5th fret, 3rd fret, 2nd, open. 5, 3, 2, then you just take that pattern over a fret to 6, 4, 3, open. 6, 4, 3, open. And you do one of each. What I try to do is like accent the pinky note, the first note there. That way it helps me stay on the beat at such a fast rate. So alright. So after letter D, they continue that same pattern into letter E. Letter D is where he's like doing the cymbal grabs. And then letter E, they add some chords to it, which is the A string 1st fret, D string 3rd fret. So it'll sound like this. Like that. That's the first line of letter E. The second line of letter E adds more than one chord. It's the low E string 3rd fret and 5th fret power chord. And that gets moved up to the 6th and 8th fret. I have a little slide there in parentheses. It's so chaotic at this time that they kind of fall off the chord. So sometimes it sounds like the 5th fret's in there, but I would just slide off of it because they're trying to get back to the riff because it's going so fast. So letter E at a little bit of a slower rate is that's probably the hardest riff of the whole thing, in my opinion. So then we go to letter F, and this has some picking chords. It sounds like this. So this one, the picking pattern, I have the pick symbols written above the notes there on letter F, and it's palm muted, and the picking pattern goes like this. Down, 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 down. Down, 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 down. Alright, so once you do that little rhythm, then you go to the low E string, 8th fret, and 10th fret on the A string. Then you're going to slide it over a fret and over a string to the A string, 7th fret, and 9th fret. Power chord. That slides over one fret to the 6th and 8th fret. So it's like. So if you add the picking rhythm to the beginning. next measure does the same picking rhythm. Chords are different at the end here. Low E string, 7th fret and 9th fret, power chord. And that goes up to 10 and 12. So the second half of that riff, like that. So that whole part, letter F. Cool dark riff. So we're on to the letter G now on the tabs, and this one sounds like this. So what you're going to do with this one is palm mute the low E string 4 times, either down or down up, and then we have this like hammer on and pull off pattern. So you're going to go to the A string, 7th fret, 1st finger. And you're going to hammer your pinky on 10, pull off to 8, pull off to 7. So you pick 7, hammer 10, pull off to 8, pull off to 7. And the trick to this is when you do the hammer on the 10th fret, the 2nd finger gets ready on the 8th fret for the pull off, and the 1st finger doesn't move the whole time, it just stays there. And then you have to pick the 8th fret one more time at the end of that. So you add the 4 palm mutes. Then we're going to do 3 palm mutes, and then we have this another riff over here, 7th fret A string, pinky on the 10th fret, and then the D string 8-7. First 2 measures there of letter G on the tabs is then we go to some chords on the A string, 6th and 8th fret, power chord. And then the last 2 beats, we're going to move over to 5 and 7 on the low E string, power chord. Alright, so that last part goes. So the whole riff there for letter G. Okay, letter H is back to the intro riff, but the difference here is if you're going to do the harmonization, the higher part, instead of just doing the riff over on the D string, moving the riff over, what you're going to do is it's going to be on the D string, but you're going to move it to the 9th fret. So the first harmonization is called a perfect 4th. This time they're doing perfect 5th. So you have the 3 opens and onto the D string 9th fret, 10, 11, 10. And then that same little finger pattern, 11, 10, 9. And then 10, 9, 8. So this harmonization of the main riff would sound like this. Alright. right, so that's letter H. It makes the harmonization a little bit higher, a little bit more intense at that point. Then we have the big chugging on the low E power chord. Open E and first finger on the 2nd fret, and you're just palm muting. And then you're covering with these fingers, and also you could use your right hand as well to make sure everything's stopped there for the rest. So make sure the rest is really timed out evenly there. Okay, so continuing for that, there's a riff that goes behind that, and that's on last page here, letter I, and you have 1 palm mute. Then you have this riff on the A string 7th fret, A string 10th fret, D string 9th fret, and I use first finger, pinky, and ring. And then what's going to happen is the last note of that riff keeps changing. So it's like 7, 10, 9. The next time it's 7, 10, 8. Next time 7, 10, 7. So they're the first 3. Then the last one on that line starts the same way, 7, 10, but this time it doesn't go to the D string, it just stays on the A string and goes to the 9th fret. So the whole thing would sound like this. Alright, so slower. Then at letter J, what they're going to do is they're going to take that riff and move it down an octave and play power chords and make it really heavy. That part sounds like this. Oh, I'm sorry. Man, I really got to work on that one. That's tough. So that's letter J, and you're going to palm mute the low E power chord, open in 2. You're going to do that twice. And then you're going to play the 3rd fret and 5th fret on the low E string, power chord. Then you're going to jump over to the 2nd fret on the A string and do 2 and 4 power chord. Happens is that this little pattern from 3 to 2 keeps going lower. So then the next time you palm mute twice, and then you do 2nd fret and 1st fret, like that. So the first measure there of letter J. Then it's going to move over one more, where you do open E power chord, palm mute twice. Then you do your 1st fret on the low E string, 1 and 3 power chord. You can use your 2nd finger this time for the open A and 2nd fret D power chord. So this one will go 1 and 3 here to open and 2 there. Then you're going to go back to your 1st finger on the E power chord again. And then you stay on the low E string 3 and 5 to 2 and 4. So the whole thing slowly. pretty tough power chord riff, but definitely worth a try because that's pretty cool stuff. Sounds really nice and dark, like Slayer. Then letter K, everything stops, and then there's just tremolo picking on the low E string. Just go nuts with it, as fast as you can go. Then they come in with these crazy guitar solos at the end. And what we're going to do, we're going to learn the rhythm underneath. So it's going to be that rhythm we did before. Earlier on one of the riffs, it sounds like down, 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 down. Like that. Then you have your first finger on the first fret, low E, and then second fret on the A. So then you're going to do the same rhythm on the first finger of the A string. And lastly, 4 times on the third fret of the low E string. So the second measure for letter L is your first fret on the A string. So letter L, the whole thing sounds like this. And then it's on the very last line of the tabs, it moves up for a short period of time. It goes twice around on this, where you then go to the 4th fret with your third finger on the low E string, same rhythm. And you're going to do 2 more of these, and then finally, second finger on the 3rd fret of the A string. So that's the first measure of this part. Then it goes 2nd fret on the A string, same rhythm again, and then 2, 2, 3, 3. So that part, the last line there in letter L, is 4th fret, 3, 2. Then it would go back to the first line of letter L. Like that. Alright. The very last few measures before the big thunder and lightning at the end there is just palm muting down up on low E. Song's over. Alright, so there are all the tabs. Let me know if you have any issues with it. Comment. For more great lessons, please subscribe, thumbs up, share the video, and more to come with more songs, more professionally done tabs and drills. So I'll talk to you later. Have fun with this one.